Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everyone's favorite segment of the week, the Best Bets Show, where I look at every single bet I got on this week's UFC card, and I choose which ones am I going to give to you for free. And generally, I like to choose the ones that I'm most confident in. So I got a Moneyline Bet for you, I got a parlay, I got a round prop bet, and at the end, I got a prop bet for you. That's usually pretty big plus money, including some DFS plays as well. Let's take a look at the results. We've been doing this for 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks, but we're profitable in both. Very small profit at UFC 302 on the Best Bets show. And then last week, we picked up 1.41 units. So the show in total is up 1.48 units. Let's try to keep that rolling. Most of the times, when I give out a play, it jinxes. But it hasn't been going that way. We've been doing pretty well. So let's try to keep that going. First bet of the night. We're going money line. Garrett Armfield. Minus 185. 3.7 units. I like this matchup for Garrett Armfield a lot. But I also see a lot of people on Garrett Armfield. So generally that makes me look back and be like, oh God, I don't want to be on the side that everyone's on. But we're all looking at this fight in the same way. Brady Hiestand is just a wrestler. That's all he is. If he gets you to the ground, he doesn't have ground and pound. He doesn't have submissions. And on the feet, he's not a good striker. Garrett Armfield has very good striking on the feet, improving his takedown defense. Now, I'm not going to go out and say he doesn't get taken down in this fight. I do think he probably gets taken down once, twice, maybe 3 times. But what is Brady Hiestand going to do with those takedowns? Not much. Maybe try to tire out Garrett Armfield, which could happen. But I want to trust Garrett Armfield in this spot because I think on the feet, he has a very, very solid boxing on the feet. And it's very technical and it's very calculated. He sticks behind the jab, and that jab is going to get on Brady Hiestand's face very quickly. And I would assume Brady Hiestand's going to have a bloody nose by the end of round 1 because Brady Hiestand, for some reason, including myself, I'm a guy that gets bloody noses pretty easily. Every time I spar, I get a bloody nose. Brady Hiestand might be the same guy because this guy's nose is always bloody. So I think that nose is going to be busted up from the jab pretty quickly. And Garrett Armfield's just going to continue to do his work on the feet. Just don't get taken down. And if you get taken down, get back up to your feet. He showed his ability to do that against Brad Katona, where he picked up that win in a very impressive fashion. He was an underdog in that play, or in that fight, and he gets it done. I think on the feet, he should be able to win this one either 30-27, maybe a 29-28, and maybe we could see a knockout from Garrett Armfield. So I like Garrett Armfield on the money line this week. Minus 185. It's not super short, but I am pretty confident in it. That's why I'm laying 3.7 units. Let's take a look at some underdog plays. So if you don't know, Underdog Fantasy is a daily fantasy app, which is available in all these yellow states on the map right here. And we've had a lot of success using this app. So if you want to join, use my code HeyJive when you sign up. You'll get a deposit bonus, and you can put in the plays that I'll put on the next screen right here. We got 4 plays, mainly 3. We usually go with 3 to maybe 4 plays, 2-leggers, and then we always throw in the little 5-legger right here for a little extra coin. This is $100 to pay $2,000. And as you could see, a lot of these props are in these 3-leggers, so I like it a lot. I really do. I think this is going to be a good week for daily fantasy because I think Pilastri eclipses that pretty easily. Women's MMA, I love to take the over on significant strikes because anything you throw at them, not really going to knock them out. You don't see a lot of finishes, and they usually tend to rack up the significant strikes with the leg kicks, with the hands, the jab, everything. As you can see here, I got another women's over. And then I like a lot of unders on the men's fight this week. Tatsuro Taira lower on significant strikes there. Maness, I think that number is just too low. Jimmy Flick does get hit a lot, but he's pretty tough. And I could see this, going up to 28, 30. And I could probably see a Nate Maness finish in round 2. So that's why I like the higher there. And then grapplers. Whenever you see a grappler's number like this, I always got to go lower. Because you want to see them. They want to get takedowns. They don't want to stand there and strike. So Brady, he's staying lower. Love that one. And then the 5-legger there. Take a look. Moving on. We got round props. Going with the under 2.5 rounds in the Adam Fugit, Josh Quinlan fight. Sitting at minus 130. Pretty playable price. Throwing 1.3 units on that one. If you look at their professional careers, 18 of their 21 combined fights end inside the distance. I think we're getting a great price here. Minus 130. I think a lot of that has to do with the recency bias on the Quinlan side, because he went to the third round with Danny Barlow, showed a great ability to take damage, I guess. He got his ass whooped in that fight, and that fight was only 4 months ago. So maybe a little bit too quick for Quinlan to get back in the octagon, which is why I kind of like a possible finish from Fugit in this side. Fugit is a finisher. He's got some really solid submissions, and most of his wins do come by finish. I think he's only won one fight by a decision. And then the Quinlan side, he's got big KO power, and Fugit doesn't have the greatest chin, so he could get knocked out in this spot. So overall, I think both guys could get finished, and I think both guys have the ability to finish the other. Somebody commented in the last video talking about finishing each other. I'm sorry, but that's just how we got to say it. Like, I know it's pretty sus, but that's just how we got to say it, okay? So I like the under 2.5 for the finish. Move on. Now we're going to look at the Home Fight Picks success. So last week, UFC Louisville, we went positive 2.09 units to continue the profitable trend. And then last night, PFL, we went up over 2 units as well. Positive 26.48 units year to date. If you want to join, that's where you'll get every single one of my UFC bets every single week, including the PFL bets, which there's 2 more cards this month. So those have always been profitable for me. Cooking on those. I think those are easier than UFC, honestly. I think they're easier. They're just easier because the market's not as tapped in, and you get a lot of sides that it's just like a no doubter. So you'll get all those UFC bets and PFL bets in the Home Fight Picks Discord. Use my code HeyJive for $5 off. That's where you get everything. Moving on, we got a parlay. Now, I'm not huge on the parlays this week, but this is a parlay I put in, and I think I can feel good about it because Melky Costa should win this fight. Same with Tatsuro Taira. I think these guys should both win their fights, but they're sitting at like minus 200. I'm not willing to pay that straight up. So throw them both in a parlay. Pays out plus 126. We're putting 1 unit on it. It's not some crazy parlay you can throw the bankroll on. But I do think Tatsuro Taira should be able to beat Alex Perez. If you look at Alex Perez's career, he's always struggled against guys that have good submissions and can out-grapple him on the ground. And even against Muhammad Makayev, where he stuffed 3 of 20 takedowns, he still lost the fight. So, this is a 5-round fight. Taira doesn't have the 5-round experience, but if you look at Perez, he's been booked for 5-rounders, but he's never gone 5 rounds. So it's not like I can really trust Perez to take over late. And I think ultimately Tatsuro Taira probably finds an early submission in this one. For Melky Costa, I just don't rate Nurmabeke good at all. And the only real thing he has in his pocket is getting takedowns. And once he gets those takedowns, he doesn't do anything with them. So I think Melky Costa pieces him up on the feet. So he has great kicks, and technically he's undefeated in the UFC at featherweight because his only 2 losses were at 155. He's a true featherweight. He'll be the longer, bigger guy in there. I trust him to get a dub here, so I'm throwing him in a parlay with Tatsuro Taira. Plus 126 for 1 unit. Now we're going to look at some better picks. Take a look at this map. If you're in a purple state, you're eligible to play. And you'll get a deposit bonus up to $250. We've had a lot of success on this app as well. They got a lot of lines out there, which is great. This is one they have lines earlier in the week, which are great to tap into. So hit the link in the bio if you want to join, get that deposit bonus, and you can put these plays in. These aren't all of them. I'm going to have about 2 more plays. Just haven't been able to put them in yet, making this video. But once I do put those plays in, I will post them in my free Telegram, which is where I will tell you about later in this video. My free Telegram is where you can get more plays for free. But these 2 plays on the screen, grapplers under on significant strikes. That's the way to go. I've had so much success just taking grapplers lower on significant strikes because 1, they don't want to stand and strike. 2, if you're on the ground, it's very hard to rack up significant strikes via ground and pound. Very hard to do that. And 3, you get the upside for an early finish. So if the fight ends early, they don't have the ability to get those significant strikes later in the fight if the fight were to go to a decision. So all 4 of these guys, they're grapplers, taking their lower on significant strikes. $100 pays $300. Move on to the prop bet. We got Lucas Almeida. Now, I think a lot of people are just writing Lucas Almeida off because he's on back-to-back losses, back-to-back fights where he got finished. His last one, he got knocked out by Andre Fili. And then the fight before that, he got finished by Pat Sabatino via submission. Those are 2 pretty damn good fighters. And 2 fighters that have a lot of experience, a lot of high-level experience. So I don't really think losing to those guys is that bad. Now, he's facing Timmy Kwamba. Timmy Kwamba is a young guy that people say has a lot of, or has a high ceiling, has a lot of potential. I think this is a tough matchup for him because Timmy Kwamba never lets his hands go. He's really a guy that will pitter-patter. He'll hit some clean shots here and there, and he could easily knock out Lucas Almeida because Lucas Almeida is just a guy that's just going to go in there, kill or be killed. He's a very aggressive striker and actually has a pretty decent submission package if guys are shooting takedowns on him. So I think Lucas Almeida could knock out Timmy Kwamba, or we could see a opportunity for a club and sub. So Lucas Almeida inside the distance, plus 275 for a half a unit, and we're sprinkling the Almeida sub at plus 1,000 for 0.1 units. Club and sub, or if Timmy Kwamba gets him to the ground. Lucas Almeida, long limbs. He's got a good guillotine. He's got a good triangle choke. And honestly, if you look at Timmy Kwamba's losses, the only time he's been finished was a submission via rear naked choke. So we could see, I think Timmy Kwamba has a decent chin. So I think we could see a club and sub as well, where Almeida cracks him with something, jumps on him, gets his back, chokes him out that way. I just think there's a lot of value in this side because Lucas Almeida is not a point fighter. He's a guy that's going to go out there, throw with heat, and on the ground, he's dangerous. So Almeida inside the distance, those are big plus money. I like it. Lastly, I will ask you to join my free Telegram channel. This is free. Absolutely free. There's no reason you shouldn't join. Just click the button down in the description to join the free Telegram channel. This is where I post daily bets throughout the week via MLB, NBA, NHL, whatever. And then once we get to the weekend, last night I gave out a PFL parlay that cashed. And last week, if you're not familiar, on my Instagram, we run an Instagram live the day of the fight. So usually Saturday afternoon. And we cook up some parlays. And after we're done with that, if you weren't able to join the IG live, I post all the slips in the free Telegram. And last week we freaking cooked. Okay, last week, these are the parlays from last week from that IG live that were posted in the free Telegram. 4-bet parlay paid plus 515. A 2-bet underdog play paid plus 944. And then a 2-leg prop bet right here, paid plus 272. It's free. Go ahead and join it. The link is down in the description. And other than that, I got nothing for you. Good luck to your bets. Join the Home Fight Picks for all the bets on this week's card and the PFL bets next week and the UFC card next week. Join it up. Let's go, boys. Good luck. Hey, Job Picks. We out.